उद्घाट्य योगकलया हृदयां च कोशं धन्यैश्चिरादपि यथारुचि गृह्यमाणः यः प्रस्फुरत्य विरतं परिपूर्णरूपः श्रेयस्समे दिशतु शाश्वतिकं मुकुन्दः अमरीकबरीभारभ्रमरी मुखरीकृतं दूरीकरोतु दुरितं गौरीचरणपङ्कजं परस्परतपःसम्पत्फलायितपरस्परौ प्रपञ्चमातापितरौ प्राञ्चौ जायापतिस्तुमः. Looking at the Atisayokti alankara, so we have to start with the fourth variety. I think we finished 3 varieties here. So the first variety is Rupaka Atisayokti, which is Nigirya Adhyavasanam. I'll just go over quickly. रूपकातिशयोक्तिः स्यात् निगीर्य अध्यवसानतः पश्य नीलोत्पलद्वन्द्वात् निस्सरन्ति शिताशराः. Only the upamanam is mentioned, the upameya is not mentioned. So it is based on rupaka, but there is completely nigaranam. There is a superimposition, but at the same time the upameya is totally swallowed by the upamana, and only the upamana is mentioned in the vachyartha. So this is Rupakaatishayokti. The second type is Sapannava Rupakaatishayokti. So where there is an Apannuti also. So Yadi Apannuti Garbhatvam Saiva Sapannava Mata Tat Suktishu Sudharajanna Bhrantaha Pashyanti Tam Vidho. There is actually nectar only in your words, but people are they're confused and they see that nectar is there only in the moon. So you're actually denying the existence of Sudha in the moon, and you're saying that the madhuryam that is there in the sukti of the king is only nectar. The other thing is not at all nectar. So there is an apannuti. Apannuti is nishedha. And then there is a superimposition also, which is in play, where you are not mentioning the basic madhuryam here. So madhuryam is the...
In this, Viduhu is there. That one is also not. That is also a poetic fancy only way that the Sudha is there. They are not doing Apanuti with respect to flower or anything where the real thing is there.
So Vidhu, if you look at Vishnu Puranam, the moon has nectar. So that is not a Kavi Samaya, but it is a Purana Sammatam. And the Devas are supposed to take the nectar each and every day from the moon until the 14th day, and then Amavasya Dinam, it is the Pitra Dinam. So the Pitras take the Sudha from the moon. And then again, it starts off. So this is how the waning of the moon happens.
Oh, so it is really there then. Okay.
So if we accept what is there in Puranam, then we take it. It is not a poetic kavisammatam nasti. Atratu Purane vidyate, Vedeshu vidyante. So you take it as truth, right? That's it. So Sapannava Rupaka Atishayokti. The third variety is Bhedaka Atishayokti, the most simplest and easiest to recognize, I told you. Bhedaka Atishayokti hi syate tasyaiva anyatva varnanam. Only there is something that you are describing, but you are describing it as, oh, etattu anyadeva. Something different, something totally different. That's all you're saying. So you are not going to say whether it is alaukikam or divyam, tatha kimapi na varnyate. Kevalam anyat iti, you use the word there, anyat, then that's it. It is called Bhedaka Atishayokti because you are, even though it belongs to something that is there in the world. Anyadeva asya gambhiryam, anyadhiryam mahipatehe. This king is like the other kings also having a gambhiryam and a dhiryam that is very typical of every king, but then you want to say that this particular king is somehow different from the other kings. So the gambhiryam that he has, or the bravery that he has, dhairyam, is totally different. So vachyarthe eva tatra anyat iti vachaka shabdaha vartate api. So this variety is called Bhedaka Atishayokti. Okay. Now the fourth variety is Sambandha Atishayokti. Fifth variety is Asambandha Atishayokti. These two go hand in hand. So the other one is like an opposite of this one. Sambandha Atishayokti hi syat ayoge yoga kalpanam saudhagrani purasya asya sprishanti vidhu mandalam. Ayoge yoga kalpanam. where there is no connection, you are trying to do a connection there. Yoga kalpanam, something that does not fit at all, that does not really exist, but then you are describing that there is such a connection actually existing. Asya purasya saudhagrani, saudha here is palace. Prasadasya agrani, shikhara bhutani, tetu vidhumandalam sprishanti, they are touching the Chandramandala. So Saudhagrani, Asya Purasya, Saudhagrani, the tops of the palaces or the houses in this city, Vidhumandalam Sprishanti, they are touching the moon. Ayoge Asambandhe Api. Ayoge Asambandhe Api, even if there is no connection, Asambandhe Sati, Yoga Kalpanam Sambandha Varnanam. You are describing that there is a connection, even though there is no connection. This is called Sambandhatisayoktihi. Asya Purasya Saudhagrani Prasada Shikharani Vidhu Mandalam Chandramandalam Sprishanti. They touch. Ityatra Samunnatanam Saudhashikaranam Vastutaha Vidhumandala Sparsha Asambandhe Api. Even though the palaces are very tall, so the top portion seems, we say, it is touching the clouds, but that's not the actual skyscraper. Even the word skyscraper is a Sambandhatisayokti here. It doesn't scrape the sky, but you think that it touches the sky. So Samunnatanam, it is very tall. So the tops of the palaces, which are very tall, Vastutaha, in reality, Vidhumandala Sparsha Asambandhe Api, even though there is no connection, that is, they do not touch the Chandra, the moon, Tathapi, that Sambandha Varnanat, because it has been described that they are touching the moon. This type of alankara is called Sambandhatisayokti. Okay. The aparam udaharanam for this is Katipaya Divasaihi Kshayam Prayayat Kanakagirihi Kritavasara Avasanaha Iti Mudam Upayati Chakravaki Vitaranashalini Veera Rudra Deve. Veera Rudra Deve Vitaranashalini Sati. When Veera Rudra Deva has this character of giving charity to everybody. Vitaranam Sheelam Yasya, or Vitaranena Shalate, one who shines because of Vitaranam or charity, doing charity. So Veera Rudra Deva is a king, is the name of a king. He is famous for his charitable nature. So when he is giving charity, Chakravaki Iti Mudam Upayati, the Chakravaki bird, that is the female Chakravaka bird, Mudam Upayati, it becomes very happy in the following manner, thinking thus. What is it thinking here? Because this king is such a charitable person, within a few days, he is going to completely reduce Meru mountain to nothing. So Kshayam Katipaya Divasaihi Eva, within a few days itself, Kshayam Prayayat, it will definitely be reduced here. Kshayam Yati. So it will Yati, Yayat should be the Vidhiling Nanikra. Prayayat. Kanakagirihi. Why? The Meru mountain is supposed to be a golden mountain, and when you are giving charity, you will start giving everything that is within your grasp. So here you have to take it as Veera Rudra Deva is ruling the entire Bhumi. So Meru mountain is also within his rule. And as he is getting rid of all of his wealth, he will start reducing this Meru mountain also to nothing by giving that in charity. And this, what is the reason for this Chakravaki bird to feel so happy about it? Because this Meru mountain, Krita Vasara Avasanaha, it is a mountain which is responsible for the sun to set. Vasarasya Avasanaha Yena Kritaha. The end of the day is being done by this Meru mountain. That is, the sun, as it goes and sets beyond the Meru mountain. So this is the cause for the sun to set. When the sun sets, it becomes very dark in the world. The Chakravaka bird is supposed to have night blindness. That is accepted in the Kavi Samaya. So it has night blindness here. So even if the male bird is very close by, it is unable to see it. So it spends the night in Viraha. Now, if the Meru mountain is completely reduced and there is nothing there, the sun will always be shining. And so the female Chakravaka bird need not feel unhappy at all. So it can be very happy always. That is, there will be no viraha from its priya. So Katipaya Divasaihi Kshayam Prayayat Kanaka Girihi Krita Vasara Avasanaha. So Krita Vasara Avasanaha, that which creates the end of the day. Iti Mudam Upayati Chakravaki. So thinking thus, thinking thus, the Chakravaki bird becomes very happy about it. When Prataparudra or Veerarudra Deva is the charitable person here. Vitarana Shalini Sati. Atra Suryastamana Karakasya Kanakagirehe Mahameroho Kshaya Sambhavana Prayuktena. Now this part is Utpreksha here. Kanakagirehe Kshaya Sambhavaha tu na bhavateva. So there is a Sambhavana of destruction of Mahameru here. But that Mahameru is never going to reduce in stature. So there is an Utpreksha. So Kshaya Sambhavana Prayuktena, using that Utpreksha. Now, what is the second part that is being described? Santoshena Chakravakyaha Sambandha Abhave Api. Never is this Chakravaki bird going to feel happy, because the sun is never going to set. Sun is never going to keep shining always. It will set. So there is no happiness for this Chakravaki bird during the night. So Santoshena Sambandha Abhave Api or Asambandhe Api. Even though the Chakravaki bird is not going to be connected with the happiness, Tathapi Mudam Upayati iti Uktam. Tat Sambandha Varnanat Sambandhati Shayokti. Okay? Lakshana Samanvayaha. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, Asambandha Atishayokti, is the opposite. Yoge api ayoga sambandha. There it was sambandha darshitaha. Tasmat yatra sambandha na vidyate tatra sambandha darshitaschet sambandhe atishayokti. The atishayokti or the exaggeration is in the connection part. Here the exaggeration is in the non-connection part. So asambandha atishayokti. That's the way you can remember the what is the lakshanam for the alankara. So when I say asambandha atishayokti, then the lakshana would be sambandhe api asambandaha asambandha varnanat asambandha atishayokti. So yoge api, a lot of spelling mistakes are here. Yoge api ayogaha asambandha atishayoktihi iti iryate. Tvayidatari Rajendra Swardruman na adriyamahe. Hey Rajendra, O king, Tvayi datari sati. When you are the person who gives here, Swardruman na adriyamahe, we do not think highly of the Kalpataru. Kalpataru is supposed to be the best among the donor, right? Whereas here he is saying that the king is better than that Swardruma. So when you are there, I don't need to think about the Kalpataru at all. We do not think highly. Na adriyamahe. We do not think highly of the Kalpataru. This is just to please the king. They are making an exaggerated statement here. There will definitely, at a point where the king is not present, Kalpataru is going to be present for a longer time. So Kalpataru has a longer time frame. So definitely there will be a bahumanam towards the Kalpataru. Yoge api. Kintu atra na adriyamahe iti swardrumanam prati adaraha na vidyate iti varnanat asambandhatishekti. So let's see this. Yoge sambandhe satyapi ayogaha asambandha varnanam asambandha atishayoktihi iti iryate uchyate. So asambandha atishayokti is said to be the description of a non-connection, ayogaha, when there is a connection. So, He Rajendra, Tvayi Datari Vitaranashalini Sati, Swardruman, Kalpavrikshan, na Adriyamahe, na Yachamahe. Adriyamahe, we don't show an attention to Kalpataru. So here, why would they show attention to Kalpataru? Only to ask something, because it is a wish-fulfilling tree. So he takes the meaning of Adriyamahe as Yachamahe. Iti udaharanam. Ragni Danashile Satyapi, even though the king is a very great charitable person, Swardrumeshu Sarvesham Adaraha Bhavatyeva. Definitely people will have an honor towards, or will have a great feeling towards Kalpataru, because it is a wish-giving tree which is present in Swarga, and everybody wants to attain Swarga in some way or the other. Right? So, Sarvesham Adaraha Bhavatyeva. They think highly of this Kalpataru. Tathacha Adara Yoge api na Adriyamahe iti ayoga kalpanat asambandha atishayoktihi. Okay. Asyaha अपरम उदाहरणम अनयोर अनवद्यांगी स्तनयोर जृंभमाणयोः अवकाशो न पर्याप्तः तव बाहुलतांतरे. Hey anavadyangi, one who has faultless limbs. Avadya is fault, anavadya is faultless. Anga, so it's very symmetrical, or you can't find any fault with any of her beautiful parts. So, hey anavadyangi, anayoho jrimbhamanayoho stanayoho avakashaha na paryaptaha. The space between your two arms, bahulata antare, tava bahulata antare, in the space between your two arms, the space between your two arms is not enough. Na paryaptaha, avakashaha na paryaptaha. For what? For your breasts, which are jrimbhamanayoho, they are growing. As a woman moves from kaumaram to yavvanam, there are certain bodily changes. So he's talking about that, and he's saying anayoho stanayoho jrimbhamanayoho, as they are gaining, becoming bigger and bigger, there is no space between your two arms. So artra vardhamanayoho stanayoho paryaptasya avakashasya. As the body grows, naturally it will give space for the growing parts of the body also. So avakashastu paryaptaha eva tatra, parantu na paryaptaha iti uktam. So yoge api ayoga uktihi. Vardhamanayoho stanayoho paryaptasya avakashasya bahumadhye satvat. Even though there is the enough space between the two arms for her body, for her bosoms, tat sambandhe satyapi, even though there is a connection, tathapi na paryapta iti asambandha varnanat asambandhatishayokti. Okay. So these two go hand in hand, and you can get confused, but remember that whatever the lakshanam says, that is whatever the name of the alankara is said, use that to connection, for the connection. So if it says sambandha atishayokti, sambandha varnanat atishayokti, and put the opposite on the sati part. And if it is asambandha atishayokti, then you say asambandha varnanat atishayokti. Kidrishasya. So sambandhe satyapi, asambandha varnanat. Easier to remember that way. The next one is akrama atishayoktihi. Akrama atishayoktihi syat sahatve hetu karyayoho. When both hetu should be purvavarti and karyam should be paravarti, anantara bhavi. So a cause should come before the effect. If you describe in such a manner that both the cause and the effect appear at the same time, that means there is no kramam to it, no order to the appearance of cause and effect. That is, both appear at the same time, then it is called akrama atishayoktihi. Hetu karyayoho sahatve akrama atishayoktihi. So hetu karyayoho, karya karanayoho sahatve yaugapadye varnyamane sati. Yaugapadye is not in reality, but if it is being described in such a manner, then it is called akrama atishayoktihi. आलिङ्गन्ति समं देव ज्यां पराश्च शराश्च ते ते शराः पराः च समं ज्यां आलिङ्गन्ति ते तव शराः बाणाः पराः शत्रवः च ज्यां आलिङ्गन्ति ज्या here has two meanings. One is the bow string, the other is bhumi. So when the bow touches the bowstring or when it embraces the bowstring, so te sharaha, he rajan, he deva, te sharaha, your bows, your arrows, your arrows, jyam alinganti, they touch the or they embrace the bowstring. That is, the moment you keep the arrow on the bowstring, the enemies fall down on the earth. So paraha shatravaha api jyam alinganti samam alinganti. At the same time that you place your arrow on the bowstring, the enemies embrace the earth. That is, they fall down. That is, they die. The karanam here is sharasandhanam. Karyam is shatru maranam. But there should be a purvaparya in it. Prathamam tu karanam bhavitavyam tadanantarameva karyam. Tatra samam alinganti ityuktam. They both happen at the same time. So there is no krama here. Paurvaparyam tu nasti atra. Karanam purvam, karyam tadanantaram, niyamam ullanghya, hetu karyayoho ekakalatva varnanam. नियमम उल्लंघ्य इति नियमम उल्लंघ्य कारणम पूर्वम कार्यम तदनंतरम इति एतादृशम नियमम उल्लंघ्य. Transgressing this kind of a rule or a relationship that is there between cause and effect, when you describe that both the cause and effect happen at the same time, ekakalatva varnanam akramatishayoktihi. So he rajan tavasharaha banaha parascha shatravaha cha ज्याम मौर्वीं भूमिं च समं युगपत् आलिङ्गन्ति इति उदाहरणम्. अत्र मौर्व्यां शरसन्धानरूपकारणस्य the cause of placing the arrow on the maurvi, on the bowstring, shatrunam bhupatana rupa karyasya, and the effect of the enemies falling down on the earth, being killed and they fall down on the earth. Paurva parye vidyamane api, even though there is a krama, there is an order to this. So one is purvam, the other is aparam. So paurva parya, purvancha, aparancha, purva pare. So purva parayoho bhavaha paurva paryam. Vidyamane api, even though there is a paurva paryam, yauga padya varnanat, it is being described as happening at the same time. So it is called akrama atishayokti.
What is the difference between this akrama atishayokti and then that sahokti?
Sahokti vandu chamatkara varnanama irukkanum. So whether there is a hetu karanam irka, hetu karya irka illyan paakkanum modalla. So when we come to sahokti, you ask me this question, we will address this. Seriya?
And that Ravana Raghuamsham slokam where all 10 heads fell.
Adu vechika mudiyadu.
Or the Trishiras, all 3 people died at the same time.
See, இப்ப ராமரோட எஃபெக்ட் என்னன்னா, yes, அப்படியும் எடுத்துக்கலாம். Even if he used just one bow, there is a purva parya, one attacking after the other, but it all happened at the same time. The description எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்க்கணும். See, alankaras always, it is not about how we understand it. It is always about how it is expressed in words in the shloka. You have to look at the specific description that is there in the shloka. Otherwise, you will think everything is the same alankara. Clear? எதுல வேணாலும் எதை வேணாலும் புகுத்திடலாம். அப்புறம் you will get mixed up with the alankaras. Look very carefully at what the shloka says and then decide.
Okay.
Munchati munchati kosham bhajati cha bhajati prakampam arivargaha hammira veera khadge tyajati kshamam ashu. Hammiraha iti kaschana raja. So there is actually ஒரு காவியம் இருக்கு. ஹம்மீர என்ன இதுல போட்டிருக்கான்னு பாக்குறேன். இது ஒரு மீர காவியம் ஏதோ ஒண்ணு இருக்கு, Digvijayama, something like that. I don't know what it is. There is a kavyam there. So munchati kosham, as the koshamங்கிறது இங்க என்ன, khadgaha, khadgaha, when the hamira veera khadge munchati kosham munchati sati, when the sword leaves its kosha sheath, scabbard, when it leaves its kosha, its covering, as it leaves its covering, prakampam arivargaha bhajati, he has not even taken it out and shown some moves or anything, nothing of that sort. As the sword leaves its covering, that's all. The all of the shatru varga tu tatra prakampam anubhavanti, immediately they start shivering, as if the wind has made them shiver here, or as if they have seen his moves here. Tatha nasti, parantu as it leaves here, they are already afraid. So hammira veera khadge bhajati prakampam arivargaha, the enemy, the group of enemies, they feel prakampam, they feel trembling. Hammira veera khadge kshamam ashu tyajati, and it immediately lets go of its kshama, its tolerance. That is, immediately it also goes and kills all of those people. So idla vandu munchati, bhajati, tyajati, these are all the three actions that happen one after the other. So hammira veera khadgaha yada kosham munchati tada eva arivargaha kosham bhandagaram munchati, the first part. So இப்படி எடுத்துக்கணும், அரிவர்கஹ கோஷம் முஞ்சதி, அரிவர்கஹ கோஷம் முஞ்சதி, खड्गः प्रकम्पं भजति सति, अरिवर्गः prakampam bhajati. So one bhajati you take it as shatranta, the other bhajati you take it as a latlakara for the arivarga. So you'll have to rearrange this in a different manner. This is a samuchaya alankara also here, but first you take it as hammira veera khadge kosham munchati sati, that is the first part. The next one is tada arivargaha kosham munchati swa, so they leave their treasury and they move away, it seems. So appada adu set agum, illana it won't fit here. You have to take it as separate like this. So hammira veera khadge kosham munchati sati, when hammira raja, as he removes his sword from the covering, arivargaha, the enemies, leave their treasury and run off. That is it, he has not even come there, but still they have run off from there. Okay, the next one is hammira veera khadge prakampam bhajati sati, yada khadgaha kampate, when he shows the movement of his sword, shatravaha api arivargaha api prakampam bhajati, shatravaha api kampante, they also shake here. The same here also, tyajati khadge kshamam tyajati sati, when the sword lets go of its patience, when the sword is not able to tolerate this anymore, at that moment itself, even before he can kill them, they have left the earth and gone. Kshama iti, take it as bhumi. So arivargaha kshamam ashu tyajati, so which means they have pranan tyajati iti. So they have let their life go and they are no more alive. Okay,
This is what is called bind the sagar.
Bind the sagar.
Amazing.
So actually
it's beautiful because the shatra and the verb, he's using it in a very, very nice manner.
Yeah.
And he's got puns on the kshama coming.
Kosham.
And the kosha also, there's a pun, one for the sheath, one for the and the prakampam also. One is the trembling of the movement of the sword, and there is the trembling of the
If you have handled a real, proper sword, which is long and the metal sword, as you take it out of the cover, அது ஒரு ஆடும் தெரியுமோ இல்லையோ?
Yeah, that fencing.
Fencing கூட ரொம்ப thin sword. நான் சொல்றது அந்த ஆள வெட்டறதுக்குலாம் மார்ஷியல் ஆர்ட்ஸ்ல பார்த்தேன்னா அந்த ஒரு பெரிய sword ஒன்னு இருக்கும்.
ஆமா, ஒரு ஷிங்னு ஒரு சவுண்ட் வந்து அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் ஆடும் அது.
ஆமா. That's the one.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, yeah, Hammira Natakam or something. Yeah.
Hammira Natakam. Okay. Correct. There's a play. Okay. There are actually 3 Atishayoktis here separately. So it is a samsrishti. Yeah. Ityado karyakaranayoho yoga. Slesha. Yes. Slesha is also there. So Sankara. Correct. Slesha becomes the anga for this. So Angangi Bhava Sankaraha. So Yogapadya Varnanatha Akramatishayokti. Okay. So the next one is Chapalatishayoktihi. Chapalatishayoktistu Karye Hetu Prasaktije. When there is a Hetu Prasakti, when there is just a notion of Hetu, that the Hetu is going to happen, even before that the Karya happens. Jnana Matre. Prasakti here you take it as Jnanam. Yasyami iti udite tanvyaha valayo abhavat urmika. Yasyami iti udite, when the husband says, I am going to go duradesham gamishyami yasyami iti udite sati, as soon as he said that, tanvyaha valayaha urmika abhut. So her valayam, the bangle became an urmika. Urmika na idu illaya, what is it? Anguli.
Ring.
Sorry. Urmika eva valayo abhut. No. Valayaha urmika na abhut. Then that means she has put on a lot of weight. Tatha nasti. Urmika eva valayaha abhut iti. The finger ring became a bangle. She became so thin that even her anguliyakam could be worn as a valaya. That's the idea. So karye hetu prasaktije. Hetoho karanasya prasaktya jnanamatrena. Just the reason itself. Virahaha bhavishyati iti jnanameva tatra asti tasyaha. So jnanamatrena eva karyasya janana varnane. The karyam has already happened here. Then it is Chapala Atishayokti. Chapalam means fickle. That adavadhu poruthuka mudiyalangro illaya. It is unable to wait for something to happen, so it quickly happens. So Chapalam is usually someone who doesn't have the patience here. So that's what it means. Yasyami duradesham gamishyami iti nayakena ukte sati. When the nayaka said that I am going for pravasa, Viraha karana jnana matrena viraha bhavishyati iti kevalam tatra jnanam vartate tasyaha. Tari tanvyaha naikayaha urmika anguliyakam valayaha hastabharanam abhut ityudaharanam. Atra bhavishyadviraha rupakaranasya jnanamatrena tanvyaha krishata sanjata. Bhavishyadviraham. Viraha separation is going to happen. Iti karanasya jnanamatrena. By just that knowledge, tanvyaha krishata sanjata, she became very emaciated. So tasmat anguliyakam hastabharanam abhut. Her finger ring became a bangle. Iti karya utpatti varnanat chapalaatishayoktihi. Asyaha aparam udaharanam adatum sakridikshitepi kusume हस्ताग्रम आलोहितम लाक्षारंजन वार्तयापि सहसा रक्तंतलम पादयोः अंकानाम अनुलेपन स्मरणम अपि अत्यंत खेदावहम हंत अधीर दृशः किम अन्यत् अलकामोदोपि भारायते. So नायिका तु अत्र स्वाभाविकतया तस्याः सौकुमार्यं वर्तते. So to describe that softness that she has basically by nature, this is a description of her saukumaryam, softness. So adatum sakrit ikshite api kusume. When she wants to pluck the flower, she only looks at it. She has not even approached the flower. But the mere thought or mere sight of the flower that she wants to pick, adatum, in order to pick it. Sakrita ikshite api, even if the flower is looked at just once, hastagram alohitam, the tip of her fingers have already become red just by merely looking at the flower. She wants to pluck. People usually, as you pluck the flowers, your fingertips may become a little red. But here, Satu ativa mridula vartate tasmat tasyaha hastagram tu, adana purvameva karya utpattihi. So, alohitam, it has become red. Laksha ranjana vartaya api. Sahasa, just they are talking about decorating her feet with the laksha, with the lac. So, laksha ranjana vartaya api, just by the mere talk of applying red color to her feet, sahasa padayoho talam raktam. Immediately, both her the part, the foot has become red for her. Anganam prayah.
Anganam da.
Anganam. Okay. Anganam anulepana smaranat smaranam api atyanta khedavaha. Just the mere thought of putting chandanam or any sort of anulepanam, kunkumadikam tatra lepyam yad vartate tat sarvam tu kartavyam ityeva smaranam. That's all she is just thinking. Even that ayasakaram bhavati. Atyanta khedavaham, it gives her so much of, that is, it is an effort for her to do even that. She is so soft. Hanta adhira drishaha kim anyat alakamodopi bharayate. Adhira drishaha, her eyes which are katara drishaha, her eyes are not very strong. She is not basically a very strong person. She has very soft and எப்படி சொல்றது, ஒரு மாதிரி வீக்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, ஒரு shyness that is there in her, that is making her feel a little coward here. Tadrisha drik asyaha, she has a very soft eyes. Saha evam tasyaha tanvyaha, this is an adjective to the naika here. So adhira drishaha tasyaha alaka amodaha api, even the fragrance for the hair, usually in the samrani elam poduvom, you dhoop, you do the dhoop for the hair when you want to dry the hair. That fragrance is an added heaviness for her head, it seems. Alaka amodaha api, even the fragrance for her hair is a bharayate, bharaiva acharati. Atra sahaja saukumaryayaha naikayaha viraha avasthayam adana icha. Okay, so the background here is not only saukumaryam, there is also the viraha avastha. That is why sarvamapi ayasakaram bhavati atra. Everything seems to be an effort and everything is causing her tiredness, right? Fatigue. So viraha avasthayam, during her separation, adana ichchaya kusuma ikshana matrena hastagram lohitam abhut laksha rasa vartaya api padatalam raktam abhut ityadau. In all these cases, karana prasakti matrena kusuma adana ikshanena tatra kusumadanam kartavyam iti jnana matrena tat karanena. So kusuma adanam tu atra karanam bhavati, tena adanena eva hastagram lohitam bhavishyati, kintu atra adanam kartavyam ityeva, that jnanam eva tatra vartate. Jnana matrena hasta lohitatvam atra jatam sanjata tattu karyam. So karya utpatti varnanat chapala atisayokti. Oh, this is the one. I confused the earlier one, right? So this is the other udaharanam that he gives. This is a very funny one. Yami na yami iti dhave vadati puraha takshanena tanvyangyaha galitani puro valayani avarani tathaiva dalitani. Say yami na yami. This is like yathasankyam, where you have to take one after the other. Yami iti dhave vadati sati. Dhavaha, husband. When the husband says, I'm going to go. Duradesham Gamishyami iti yatha yada saha vadati, when he says I'm going to go far off. Puraha takshanena, immediately Tanvyangyaha Puraha, in front of her, Valayani Galitani, they even before he went, all of her bangles just fell down. Galitani. Na yami iti dhave vadati sati. When he says, I'm not going to go, she becomes very happy. So, odane her body gundaidra. Yeah? So, she puts on weight, and so all her valayani, aparani, dalitani, they break because her hands become bigger. So, that's atra yami na yami iti viraha tad abhavayoho. There is separation when he says, I'm going to go. When he says, no, I've cancelled my tickets, then that means viraha abhavaha. There is no viraha avastha here. So prasakti matrena, there is just a jnanam here. He has not even left, nor has he come back from somewhere. No, there is just a talk of booking tickets and cancelling tickets. Okay, let's say that's all is happening here. So prasakti matrena, just jnana matrena, yugapat sanjata krishatvam pinatvam. Virahe viraha bhavishyati iti jnane krishatvam. Viraho na bhavishyati atraiva bhavishyati iti cheta tatra pinatvam bhavati. So karyadvara puro valaya galanam. First the bangles are all falling off. Aparesham dalanam, or the other hand, say one hand's bangles are all falling down and the other bangles are all breaking. Dalanam cha yugapat sanjatam iti hetu prasakti janya karyayoho api samakalatvam varnitam. Hetu prasakti, hetu jnanam, janya karyam. So hetu jnanena yaha yat karyam janyam bhavati tayoho samakalatvam. Okay. So this is the pair Chapalatisayokti. Chapalatisayokti. அடுத்தது வந்து அத்தியந்தாதிசயோக்தி. Okay, we'll do this next time. சரியா? 2 more examples.